In this video, we're going to walk you through every single option on the motion detection screen for XMeye-based devices. Consider this a complete video manual. You'll learn everything you need to know to master these settings and get the most out of your security system. But before we dive in, a quick heads up. This video focuses on explaining the settings. If you're looking for a step-by-step guide on how to actually enable motion recording, we have a separate video specifically for that. You can find the link in the description and in the pinned comment below. At the end of this video, we'll also leave a button on the screen linking to our full playlist for these devices. With that said, let's get started. First, access your device's main menu. From there, click on the alarm button and then select Motion Detect. Keep in mind that depending on your firmware version, these menus might look slightly different. If you get stuck or have any questions, just leave a comment below and we'll help you out as soon as possible. Let's start with the channel option. As you'd expect, this is where you select which camera you're configuring. For example, if we want to detect movement on the camera connected to channel 2, we simply select it here. You can also select all to apply settings to every camera at once. However, note that in some versions like the one we're using today, you'll still need to tweak some settings individually. We'll explain why in a moment. Once you've picked your channel, make sure to check the Enable box. This officially turns on motion detection for that specific camera. Next up is sensitivity. This drop-down allows you to set how picky the detection is. It ranges from lowest to highest. This should be the last thing you adjust. After you've set everything else up, do a real-world test. If the system is being triggered by blowing leaves or birds, turn the sensitivity down. But if it's failing to detect people walking by, you should increase the sensitivity level. Now, let's look at region. By clicking the Set button, you can define exactly which parts of the image are active. Each square on this grid can be toggled. Red squares are sensitive areas, while transparent squares are ignored by the system. To change them, just left-click a square. You can also click and drag to paint a large area quickly. Once you've masked out areas you don't want to monitor, like a busy street in the background, simply right-click to save and exit. The period option determines when motion detection is active. Click Set to open the schedule. You can configure each day individually or select all. You have 4 different time slots per day. For example, let's say on Friday you want detection active from midnight to 1 a.m., then off until 2 p.m., then back on from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. First, select Friday, and then you would set period 1 from 0 to 1, leave period 2 unchecked, and set period 3 from 14 to 17. The system uses a 24-hour format. The green bars at the bottom give you a visual look at your active hours. Click OK when you're done. Motion detection interval sets the cooldown time between triggers. The default is usually 2 seconds. This means once motion is detected, the system waits 2 seconds before it can trigger again. On this specific device, you can set this anywhere from 1 to 600 seconds, but keep in mind that this range might vary depending on your system's version. Some units may have a shorter or longer limit. To change it, just click the field to bring up the virtual keyboard and enter your preferred interval. Next is Alarm Out. This is for devices with a physical alarm output port. If you have a siren or a light connected to your DVR, checking this box will trigger that device whenever motion is detected. If your device doesn't have an alarm port, which is common in newer, compact models, keep this unchecked to save processing power. Every unused feature you disable helps your device run more efficiently. Out delay controls how long that external alarm stays on. If it's set to 10 seconds, your connected light or siren will stay active for 10 seconds after the motion stops. Now, pay attention to Record Channel. This tells the system which camera should start recording when motion is detected on the current channel. By default, it's set to the same channel you're configuring. But you could set it so that if motion is detected on channel 2, it triggers a recording on channel 1 as well. This is why we usually configure channels one by one instead of using the all setting. Tor will cycle the cameras in full screen mode on your monitor whenever motion is detected. For example, if you check all the boxes, the system will display each of those cameras in full screen, one by one, as soon as a motion event is triggered on the current channel. PTZ activation is for cameras that can pan, tilt, and zoom. You can program the camera to move to a specific preset or zoom in automatically when it senses movement. Post-rec defines how long the system continues to record after the movement has ended, assuming, of course, that you've set your device to record by motion detection, as we showed in our other video. The default on this device is 10 seconds. This means that after a motion event, the camera specified under record channel will keep recording for an additional 10 seconds. On this particular model, you can set this period anywhere from 10 to 300 seconds. Next, we have several notification options. When show message is checked, the system will pop up an alert right on your monitor whenever motion is detected. If you enable send email, the device will send an alert to your inbox, but keep in mind that you'll need to configure your email settings under System and Net Service first. We'll be posting a dedicated video on how to set that up very soon. Then we have the buzzer option. If your device has an internal speaker, it will emit a beep sound during a motion event. Write log is also very useful, as it creates a permanent record of the detection in the system's history. Finally, there is FTP upload, which sends a video file to an external server. This is a great way to save images to the cloud, but it also requires a specific setup in the Net Service menu, which we'll cover in a future tutorial. Lastly, let's look at the Advanced button, which offers some very handy shortcuts. The Show Desktop option simply takes you back to the main screen, while the Copy and Paste functions allow you to quickly transfer settings from one channel to another. To use this, just select the channel you want to copy settings from. Click Copy, then select the channel you want to transfer the settings to and click Paste. Just a word of caution when using this feature. Always double-check your record channel, sensitivity, and region settings, as these usually need to be adjusted individually for each camera. In this same menu, you'll also find the default option, which resets the current channel to its factory settings and record configuration, which jumps you straight to the recording schedule screen. Very helpful when you're setting up the system for motion-based recording. And that's it. You now know what every button does in the XMeye Motion Detection menu. We'll be releasing more versions of this tutorial for different system layouts soon. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our upcoming guides. If you want to check out our other XMeye tutorials, click the button appearing on your screen right now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.